Okay, welcome everybody to the first session of the day. Thank you very much for coming so early and being here ready for 8:30. It's a real pleasure to present to you today. Before I start, I really would like to introduce you to my fantastic co-presenters today. So we've got Adam King from Fox Sports / Kayo Sports, I should say, and we have Suri from System Partners. And my name is Yannis, and I'm also from System Partners. Now, before we start with our presentation today, I have to show you our standard slides. I'm sure you've all seen it. It's a safe harbor slide. Even though everything that we show you today is available today, not everything that we talk about is already available. So make your purchasing decisions based on what's available today and not what might be on the roadmap. Now, just to explain the structure to you of the day a bit, we have Adam starting to give you a presentation of Kayo Sports, their vision, their roadmap, and also how they service their customers. We then have Suri presenting what we've actually built for Kayo Sports and how it actually looks like. And then I would like to talk a bit more about how to design an Einstein Bot, what sort of considerations you want to take, and we take from there. And with no further say, Adam, over to you.
Great, thanks Yannis, and morning everyone. Thank you for taking the time this morning to listen to a little bit about the Kayo journey working with System Partners and Salesforce. So a big thank you for taking the time out this morning. Wouldn't mind just starting with a little bit of a straw poll as to who's heard of Kayo Sports. If you wouldn't mind just holding out, great. Brand advertising works, huh? If you wouldn't mind also just let me know how many of you might have subscribed or trialed or enjoyed the service. Okay, so in the future, hopefully we'll see a few more hands. So I just want to sort of take you through a little bit of the journey that we've gone on with Kayo. No safe harbor on this one. Everything you see is live and is in production, and our consumers are enjoying that. So what is Kayo? Kayo, well, we are a dedicated sports OTT streaming service. In terms of our product offering, we're 50 live sports, 30,000 live and video on demand hours a year, multiple devices, so enjoy the product experience on the devices, make the most of those devices, and in terms of getting access to all of that great content, you can do that in less than 2 minutes. So in terms of the actual product, we're all immensely proud of the product we've got in market, and the foundation for that product has been based on listening to what were at the time our future customers, and listening is a really important aspect to what we do at Kayo, and I'll talk a little bit more about how that sort of feeds into how we operate as a business. But these key features and product sets that you see within the product are those that our customers or future customers at the time really told us were the standouts and the reasons that they would subscribe to, a sports streaming service. Within our business, we're fully aware that there's a number of different competing products, services for your entertainment dollars each month. And for us, making sure that you've got a reason to stay subscribed each and every month is part of our core business model. And that will come through in terms of how we approach service and lead in some of the things that Yannis and Suri will not only talk about, but also demonstrate. So being an OTT service gives us some advantages in terms of speed to market, but also gives some challenges. So unlike some of our sister business of Foxtel, where they have complexities around things like hardware and some of the devices and connectivity to the home, our challenge is slightly different in that we're relying on the connectivity and the hardware you have as consumers. And if you can think about the number of permutations you have, introduces some slightly different challenges. So from a services point of view, instead of sort of the traditional focus on what might be considered sort of billing and account challenges, we're really looking at technical problem solving, trying to understand what our consumers are seeing, the experience they're having, and again, how we can find a resolution to that. And I think Suri will bring that to life a little bit later on when he shows you some of the Salesforce experience. So moving into the actual product itself, I wanted to give you guys a bit of a shameless plug for the product so you can see what's in there. So in terms of raising hands of people who might be involved in enjoying Kayo, get a few more. So let's play. So I say we're all immensely proud of the product we've got out in market, but I've been talking a little bit about the product experience, and I want to talk a little bit more about the consumer experience. And I think when we look at consumer experience, every business strives to have that key buzzword of consumer centricity, but what does that actually mean? I think it's how do we actually maintain within our key business areas how that focus on consumer. I think it's more about than just creating teams and functions. It's about how you operate as a business. It needs to be within the DNA of the business, and hopefully that's something that we've instilled within Kayo. So for us, it's about maintaining that focus on experience and service being very much part of that experience. I mentioned before about giving consumers the very best experience each and every month to retain that subscription. That goes for every aspect of their experience. And for us, that's a critical part of the promise that we want to deliver to that consumer. So in terms of service design, and again, these guys will start to show you a little bit more under the hood, but our service design is both brave and something that we need to ensure scales. So, we have a dedicated team, a number of them are here today, some exceptional talent who've helped us implement a digital-only service design that we believe will scale throughout the demands of, what is a fairly critical service when you start thinking about the live and on-demand nature of the content. So a number of people sort of compare us to, or as being the Netflix for sport, which, it's a pat on the back for us. We feel like we've done a good job. But one of the key differences with Netflix is that their video is on demand, ours has a live aspect. So in terms of any service interruptions or issues, keeping Aussies from their favourite code, sport, team, kickoff, we need to make sure that we're able to obviously resolve those issues in a timely and knowledgeable way. So our service design is a model that's focused on self-service. So how can we get you closer to the resolution without having to interact with a human being? We want to get you to your problem solution as quick as possible. And to give you a bit of insight, we're around about just north of 90% of all of our service interactions fall into that category. So that's where someone's found a resolution online to a problem they're having, doesn't need to raise a case or a service ticket. Next, we look at some of the automated ways in which we can solve for service challenges. And again, Suri and Yanis will talk a little bit more about the bot and the work we've been doing in that space. And then thirdly, after we've moved through that automation, how do we get you connected to someone who can resolve your issue knowledgeably and ultimately see and understand the experience you're having? So I talked a little bit about listening. For us, it is about listening and understanding what the consumer is doing. It's then transitioning from listening into learning and developing and taking us on that journey. So we've had a bit of a rapid program of work to get to this stage. The Kayo story sort of really began in earnest around March last year. First keys tapped in Salesforce towards the end of May, and we launched in mid-November. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride for us. And those of you who may have seen a press announcement end of January, at the end of our first 10 weeks, we were proud to announce we had hit 100,000 paying customers. So it's been a bit of a journey. It's been frantic. We're very, very lucky, and we've got an exceptional team, as I said, within Kayo, but we also work with exceptional partners as well, and the journey with system partners has certainly been that. So thank you to you guys and also the rest of the system partners team. It's been a great experience working with you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Hand over to you.
Awesome. Hi, can you all hear me? Cool. So I'm going to walk you through a demo of the three pieces that are shown in this slide. So the first self-service layer being the help center, which is the Salesforce community. The second layer being the automated service, which is the Einstein Bot. And finally, the assisted service, which is getting in touch with an agent from the Kayo support crew. So can we switch to the demo screen? Yeah, cool. So what you're seeing here is the Kayo Sports product. So the first best practice or tip when it comes to implementing high-quality self-service is make your help site reachable from everywhere. So, of course, when I click on help and support here, I land on the Kayo Help Center page, which is built on the Salesforce customer community. So not only make it available on the product, but also on the mobile app, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And another important consideration is also make it search engine optimized. So if I just Google for Kayo Split View, I don't know if you've heard about Split View. It's one of the much talked about features of Kayo, where I can view 4 different screens on the same view, 4 different games going on. So when I search Google for Split View, you'll notice that the top 3 results returned are redirecting me to the help site, which is the Salesforce community. And the next thing is all the knowledge articles that are available to the customers, make sure that they are updated regularly. So what I mean here is listen to the customer's feedback. So feedback from their cases or feedback from social media listening. So what we've done here is the team has done a great job on listening via Social Studio through the different social channels every 2 weeks, updating the knowledge article content, and keep the site very easy to navigate, include a search bar there, keep it very visually pleasing to the customer, and throw in some videos there for some nice fancy FX. The thing is, when it comes to the knowledge article content, make sure the search experience is also nice. So if I search for the same split view here, you'll notice that the search results are relevant, and the most relevant results come on top. And when I click on one of these articles, it's not just a bunch of text there, but you have a video, some screenshots, and make it as readable and as user-friendly as possible to the customer. Finally, one important tip is make sure it's also optimized across all devices. So whether I'm seeing it on an iPhone or an Android phone or laptop or tablet or whatever, the experience should be seamless and easy. So just one thing, like what I'm showing you right now is the live side of Kayo. So it's not something that's fabricated for the sake of a demo. It's what is in there today, the current state. The next thing I'm going to show you is the automated service with the Einstein Bot. So for this reason, I will show you the bot in our sandbox environment or the test environment, because we have a team of agents in Melbourne right now who are servicing customers. So I don't want to end up disturbing their day with my demo chats from this live environment. So just a second. Oops. So I'm starting the bot here. It's a live demo, so please keep your fingers crossed for me. No hiccups with Wi-Fi or anything like that. So I trust Salesforce Wi-Fi here. So when I start the bot, the first thing is the bot clearly tells me that it is a bot and it's not a human. So if you see here, it says, "Hi, Suri, K-bot here. I'm programmed to do my best for you. How can I help you today?" And then it presents me with a menu of options. And so the term menu-driven means that I purely get service by selecting the menu items presented to me by the bot. So the example I'm picking today is, let's say I want to know more details about my subscription. And I'm going to say my subscription. Now, what's going to happen here is I want to know more about my subscription details, right? Like how much I'm paying, what is the end date, and so on. So this is sensitive information, and not everybody with my email should be able to grab it and put it in the bot and get hold of my subscription information. So what happens is when I say what are my subscription details, I receive an SMS to my phone right away with a 4-digit validation code. So this makes sure we have that added 2-factor authentication and validation. So let me enter the code. And the minute I do this, what the bot does is it fetches the information from the billing system in real time. So I want to emphasize the fact here that the bot is not a purely information-serving engine, but it also does stuff that is transactional. It gets information from other systems in real time. And so if you look here, it says 3-stream product, costs me so much, and the next billing date is so and so. So to set the expectation straight here, the bot can show only plain text and emojis, and not fancy rich text or HTML. The reason being, today you're seeing that the bot through the web channel, but it is also possible to have the bot through SMS or Facebook Messenger and so on. So in order to make sure that the experience is optimized, it's only plain text and emojis. I'm just going to show you one more example where I'm not going to choose one of the items from the menu, but I'm just going to type something here. So this is a problem most of us face, like we forget our password or don't know what we signed up with. So I say I can't log in, and this is where the input that I've given to the bot is I can't log in. So the bot here, the Einstein smart engine somehow figures out that I can't log in probably means that I'm having problems, and either I can reset my password or check my account details. So let's say I Yanis will get into more details on what exactly this means. So this is something called intent management and bots. He will get to the details on how it works. So what I want to show you is when I click reset password here, this bot actually resets the password on my Kayo product, and I receive an email saying, hey, here's the instructions to reset your password and set your new password. So it can do a lot of amazing things more than just showing information. And one more example I want to show is, let's say I'm still not getting what I need with the bot, and I want to talk to somebody from the Kayo support crew. So I say no here, and the bot tells me, I'm sorry about that, blah, blah, blah. Would you like me to transfer to support crew? So I'm going to click transfer to support crew here. And when I do this, it asks me, can you tell me quickly what you need help with today? So I'm going to say, I can't log in. And what I'm showing you now is the perspective of the agent in the Kayo support crew team. So this is my agent dashboard or console. And it pops up here saying, hey, so-and-so wants to chat with you. I'm going to click on accepting this chat. So what you see here, let me take 1 minute to walk through the screen because it's quite important. So I have the entire chat history with the customer on the left, and I already know what it's going to be about. So I can quickly respond to this guy with some quick text that I have here, saying, hi, this is Dwight from the support crew. How can we help? And if you look at the information that is available to me as an agent here, I have almost full context of the customer and this bot chat so that I can improve my productivity and handle time. So if you see here, I have information about the billing stuff, which is like the payment method and how he paid with Visa card, what kind of a partner he is. So this is like a Salesforce partner customer. And if I want to know more details about the customer, I want to make sure it's him and not somebody else on his behalf. I have the ability to send him an SMS right away, which is the two-factor authentication that I showed you from the bot. As an agent, I can also do it, and I receive one more SMS here. So this way, I can be certain that I'm talking to the right person with the registered mobile number. And finally, so this is the new feature from Salesforce, which is Einstein Next Best Action. So what this means is based on the chat history and based on the whole context of this chat, Einstein tells me that the user probably wants to reset his password and recommends that I can do the reset password from here. So if I click this, this will reset the customer's password right away. The last bit I want to show is more than information about the customer and the billing details and all that stuff. I have access to, I can view the entire video analytics of the customer, meaning what has he watched in the last 6 hours, 24 hours, from which location, what game, from which device, what internet speed, and so on. So if you see here, I can see the location, start time, play time, what game did he watch, and everything here. So I think the beauty of this screen is we have information from several different systems in one shot and make the life easy for both the agent and the customer. I think I'm done with my time here, so I want to recap with one slide back to the presentation. So just 1 minute on this, like some best practices while implementing the self-service portal. So make sure you always direct the customers to the site. Create the right content, be it knowledge articles or the bot. Keep your knowledge base up to date. That's very important. Keep listening to the customers. We are doing it on a fortnightly basis. The team at Kayo has done an amazing job there. Make the site easy to navigate, easily crawlable, searchable. Keep it on brand. When the customer comes from the Kayo app, he shouldn't feel like he's going to another system. And finally, keep it optimized for all types of devices. And over to Yanis. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Suri. So I want to talk a bit more about the product, the Einstein Bot product from Salesforce, and really give you a bit more of an idea of what it actually can do, how you can deploy it, how you can use it, and share some design principles with you. So first of all, let's talk about the Einstein Bot product. We already saw that the bots kind of like sit on top of a live chat feature, right? So in Salesforce, we call that snap-ins, which used to be the live agent feature that's been around forever. So that allows you to have a two-way chat between your customer and your service rep. So the bots basically sit on top of this and have the whole purpose of trying to deflect customer interactions with your support center. So the reason really is to solve your customer queries early up front without having to redirect them. Now, how can you deploy them? We just saw that we deployed the bot at Kayo through the web. So you can embed them on your customer community. You can embed them on your public-facing website. But there are also different channels that you can deploy them through, right? A good example is a mobile app. So the Salesforce mobile SDK allows you to integrate the bots into your application, into your native iOS or Android device. On the roadmap, there is an integration to Facebook Messenger and Apple Business Chat. So you can actually use those different channels to deploy your bots. And now with the latest release, you're actually able to deploy chatbots through SMS. So instead of having to go to the website, somebody can actually just text with your bot via their mobile phone. Now, the whole purpose of Einstein Bots is really to keep it simple, right? From setup all the way through to deployment. So it's a very declarative setup. It's tailored to have business users being able to build the bots. They can be integrated with your data, so you can use tools like flows to integrate with your data within Salesforce. You can send emails from the bot. But also if you have more complex scenarios like the reset password that we just showed you, where you actually need to integrate to other third-party systems, you can go down the custom path using Apex and customize your bot that way. Now, the last piece I want to talk about is that sort of intelligence layer that's built in. And I will drill down into this a bit more in detail in a second. But the idea is really that you shouldn't just provide a menu-driven bot, where basically you give the customer a set of options where they can drill down and they might click another option and then get an answer to their query. You also want to give them the ability to type in their question and then have the bot to somehow understand what the customer wants and provide them with the right answer. And I will talk about this in a second. Before I do so, I do want to talk a bit more about bot design principles. Suri touched on this already a bit, but it's really important to keep your bot transparent, right? So there's nothing more frustrating as a customer than thinking you're chatting to a human, but it's actually a bot that's interacting with you, right? It's a super frustrating experience. So don't even start to pretend that you're human. Just say, hey, I'm a bot, right? I'm able to do X, Y, Z, and I'm still learning, and I might need to transfer you. And that way, you're completely transparent to your customer. They know what they can interact with the bot and how they need to get to the call center. Also set the expectations, right? So make sure that the bot clearly articulates what they can do and what they can't do, right? I can help you with technical issues. I can help you with searching our knowledge base. I can't change your subscription, for example, right? And then it's important that you look at establishing value with the bot. So again, one of those frustrating customer experiences are when you start talking to a bot and the bot says, cool, what's your name? And how can I help you today? And then they say, cool, now I transfer you to an agent, because it was just a data collection, right? That's frustrating. So you do want to integrate it with your existing data, with your existing objects within Salesforce or your external services to really provide a value. And the examples that we just saw were around resetting your password, finding out your subscription details. So it really tries to integrate with the functionality that you have. And the last but not least part is make the bot fail-safe. So always work out what happens if the bot can't resolve the query. How do you hand over to an agent? And the way how we designed it at Kayo was really to make sure every time the bot doesn't know what to do, they transfer across to an agent. Cool. So now I already touched on the menu-driven versus intent-driven bot, right? So the menu-driven, again, gives you the options. Intent management means that we want the customer to allow them to ask a question and then somehow figure out how that works, right? What the screen we should show them. And I want to talk to that a bit more. So let's imagine the customer says, I can't log in, right? And they type this question rather than selecting this from the menu. What happens under the hood is Salesforce goes away and it takes a natural language processing engine and takes this phrase and looks, okay, the customer has an utterance that says can't log in. Now, they have the intention of obviously resetting their password. And there are two key concepts that we have in the bot, right? When we talk about intent management, we basically talk about a model that has a whole bunch of different utterances and how you can ask for a password reset stored against them. Then the Einstein engine goes away, builds a model around this. And when a customer now asks, hey, I can't log in, it goes away and it applies this sentence against the model and comes back to you with a confidence level, right? It will say, hey, I'm 95% confident that the customer is asking for a password reset, and then you can handle this, right? Now, what we did in this scenario was we created a dialogue. A dialogue is what you see in the bot the password reset example, for example. And we relate the intents against this dialog. So we say, hey, every time you're above a certain threshold of confidence that the customer can't log in, show the reset password dialog. And that's the way how the bot then will come back to you and say, hey, I can help you to reset your password. Is that what you want to do? So that's the whole sort of purpose. And I want to talk on my final slide just about how smart this can be, right? So as you can see with the little red box, I'm actually asking, as a German, are you streaming Kayo in Germany? Because I recently went home and I wanted to know that, right? So I typed this in, and Suri had built a dialog around this that always asked me the question, are you asking if we stream Kayo in Germany? And if I would go yes, it would basically say, sorry, we can't do it for licensing rights, or whatever the answer is, right? Now, that was good for me, right? But then I thought, haha, maybe I can outsmart the bot. And I asked exactly the same question in German. And the bot was still able to understand that and still gave me the same response. By the way, it's probably important to point out here that the way how we designed this dialogue was to say, are you asking if you can watch Kayo overseas? So we are not 100% sure as the bot because we're training our model, right? We want to learn what sort of questions customers ask. So instead of just saying, here's the answer to your streaming question in Kayo, if the bot is wrong, that would be an annoying experience, right? But if you would just go ahead and say, hey, is that actually what you're after? And I say yes, then we can learn from that and we can build the bot out further down the track. And with that, I think I just want to hand over to Adam for just wrapping up and maybe sharing a bit how the bot has impacted Kayo.
So I think I mentioned before that we'd seen sort of just north of 90% of all of our service interactions through self-service, but of the remaining sort of 10%, how many are we seeing with the bot? And I think, you know, again, it's that listen and learn. So for us, the learning experience of the bot has been pretty rapid. And the team working with system partners, I think we're up to our third iteration of the bot now. And we're seeing around about 15% of the remaining 10% being handled by the bot, which is fantastic for us. It sets a great foundation and interesting feature there in terms of multi-language, mate. So see if we can maximise some of that. But it's been a wonderful journey, and you know, we're on that evolution, and we hope to see some ongoing improvements. But again, it's been a great journey, mate. And thank you both, and system partners and Salesforce. Without you guys and the exposure you've given us to other partners and other customers in the market, it's been fantastic. So,
right.
Big thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for attending. We're obviously here to take questions, etc.